Say like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's gonna be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We tried to do that with Errol, Spence, and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out. You know what I mean? So best.
Few anticipated Terence Crawford's junior middleweight debut to be a suspenseful yet remarkable US star fight. After Israil mistreated Bud to the brink, individuals such as Teofimo Lopez are expressing the opinion that Crawford has no chance of defeating Canelo Alvarez. Lopez claims that since Crawford is getting older, it would be better for Bud to steer clear of a confrontation with the Mexican powerhouse. All I can say right now is let's see what Crawford does next. I don't think he should fight Canelo instead. I think he should fight the man who is up next, Teofimo, among the voices protesting the apparent unfairness of the situation. Eddie Hearn's outburst during the injustice in the Israil Madrimov vs. Terence Crawford bout was particularly noteworthy. Israil Madrimov promoter Hearn was particularly enraged by Judge Fernando Vale's scorecard, which gave Crawford an 6-112 victory. The Matchroom boxing chairman wasn't shy about calling the judges' scorecards a total waste of time after the bout. Hearn came right out and said that
Canelo, he's going to slow down. You know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. And there's components that not too many people are privy to knowing and understanding, and for me to explain it is a little, it will probably kind of go over your head. And I don't mean that you guys aren't intelligent and can't receive what I'm saying, but it's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out. And
in his opinion, Bud just didn't provide what was required to win. Hearn said, "It's a waste of time, it's not a 1-1-6-1-1-2 fight." Madrimov, on the other hand, entered the fight as a champion, but because he's up against Terence Crawford, he doesn't get a shake. All of the knockout punches came from Israil Madrimov. The fight was extremely close, and in my opinion, a champion must remove the belt from the other champion, which Terence Crawford failed to do. Shawn Porter is guiding the story of Crawford's possible fight with Canelo Alvarez that might define his legacy. Crawford wants to win a 4th weight division title, but his real goal is to move up to a higher weight class. The question is, why is this move better than the other two? Undisputed champion, having defeated Errol Spence Jr. the previous year, is now closer to the Canelo Alvarez domain. Crawford is focused on ending his career with a victory fight against Canelo, the current undisputed super middleweight champion. Although Canelo has mostly disregarded the call, fans are abuzz with rumors. Porter, who is well aware of Crawford's abilities, has expressed concern that picking the winner of this fight is difficult, especially in light of Crawford's decisive victory over a top-tier boxer like Errol Spence Jr.
Errol just was a strong opponent, you know, and we knew that coming in the gate.
Yeah, is Madrimov a harder puncher than Spence, you would say?
I don't know. They have their moments, you know. Both of them is very strong, but Madrimov was strong. He was strong.
How unusual was the movement, the constant feinting Madrimov did?
It wasn't like disrupting me or anything. It was his patience. He was just patient. He was just waiting. He'll feint, and just keep feinting until he get a little closer. So he was real patient in there. He wasn't rushing in with nothing. He wasn't winging those wild shots like we normally seen him in the previous fights. He was.
Porter spoke with Marcos Voas from Fight Hub TV about the difficulties Crawford will face as he moves up 2 weight classes and the notable power differences between fighters in these different divisions. "I'm worried that he might take a Canelo blow, especially if it lasts for 12 rounds. Shawn Porter expressed hesitancy about picking the winner of a fight between Crawford and Canelo, pointing out that many factors make a champion and implying that talking about all the qualities Terence Crawford possesses could easily take an hour. Porter provided a compelling analysis, forecasting that Canelo would follow a familiar pattern and tire as the fight progressed. This led Porter to anticipate that Canelo would come out aggressively, aiming to overwhelm Crawford early on. He believed Canelo would try to bang on Crawford and break him down before reaching the later rounds, where Crawford's superior stamina would give him the advantage.
Hey, I want Canelo. Is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just, oh man, you will whoop his ass.
Like yes, man type stuff.
Porter might not be sure if Bud could pull off the win, but Crawford's other former opponent does. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know. So I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a greater legend. And there's components that not too many people are privy to knowing and understanding, and for me to explain it is a little, it would probably kind of go over your head. And I don't mean that you guys aren't intelligent and can't receive what I'm saying, but it's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another. You know what I mean. Since his bout with Crawford last year, the truth has been absent from the ring for over a year, although talks of a potential match with Sebastian Fondor later this year, or in the air. Spence had the chance to trigger his rematch clause with Crawford, but decided against it, whether it's due to a need for more preparation or a dwindling sense of hope. It's clear that Spence Jr. fully recognizes the immense challenge that Terence Crawford presents, according to a tweet from TalkSport editor.
Fight, realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you still pursuing it?
Not at all. I think business talk. With the right business come across the table, yeah, I just be talking, man. Canelo a big dude, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I believe in my abilities. He's a heavy dude, but he's not a big guy. Like, he's 5'8", I'm 5'8", you know what I mean? My arm's longer than his, so that.
Michael Benson, The Truth, discussed a possible bout between Crawford and Canelo, saying that if Crawford wants to push himself to be the best, let him try. As for who he believes will win, I'm cool with it. I'd be going for Bud. I don't know if he'd win or lose, but if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off, was Spence's way of expressing confidence in his old opponent. However, Terence Crawford is still open to the notion of a high-profile matchup with rising boxing star Canelo Alvarez, particularly following his victory over Israil. As Crawford made his 154-pound debut and persevered through a taxing 12-round fight to defeat the WBA champion by majority decision, Bud became the 4-division world champion after. Madrimov gave the Nebraska native his toughest fight in a long time. However, the recently crowned WBA super welterweight champion is eager to set up a match with Alvarez. Eddie Hearn, the undisputed 168-pound champion, has written off the fight as meaningless. He believes that Crawford should focus on fighting at his current weight of 154 pounds instead. After Mob's first career setback, the chairman of Matchroom Boxing was interviewed by the Stomping Ground, and he stated that he cannot fight at 168 because Canelo would easily overpower him. He should try to fight the big names at 154 on August 3rd. Terence Crawford, after a decisive victory over Israil Madrimov for the WBA super welterweight title, Balled improved his perfect professional record to 41-0. This was the Uzbek fighter's first loss in his career before the fight against Turkey. Alik, the promoter of the Madrimov-Crawford card, said he would like to see Canelo Alvarez and Bud compete in late 2024 or early 2025. Victory over Madrimov, the 4-division world champion, was joined in the ring by Matchroom Boxing. He talked about his opponent's performance, stating that he had quick feet, good rhythm upstairs, and strength. He wasn't coming in throwing wild shots like I expected him to do. He fought well. When asked about a potential fight with Alvarez, he said, "You know what I say. If the money's right, we've got a fight, but at the same time he's got a fight that he's focused on. Terence Crawford and Saul Alvarez's potential fight is still exciting. But Canelo Alvarez must first honor his bout with Edgar Berlanga on September 14th. After that, a matchup that would excite boxing enthusiasts could be on the horizon, though difficulties the most recent Israil Madrimov after witnessing Crawford's superiority up close and suffering a unanimous decision loss to him on Saturday. Madrimov now views Crawford as the best fighter in the world for his weight class. When asked about the possibility of facing Canelo, Madrimov seemed unsure, pointing out that it would depend on the weight class that was decided upon. "I'm not sure what weight they fight at, but I believe Crawford will have a very tough time going up against Canelo in his current weight class." The subject of fighting Canelo Alvarez came up before Bud's fight with Madrimov, And his trainer Brian McIntyre told Boxing Scene that they are searching for greatness and that he has to know he wants to get to the next level always after his victory over Israil Madrimov. Madrimov noted that although he acknowledged that Crawford has punch and talent, he added, "There's no doubt he has power, there's no doubt he has skills, I knew it. That's why this fight was so close." Crawford's post-fight comments echoed Alvarez's remarks, highlighting the necessity of prior negotiation and agreement in order to achieve a hefty purse with the Mexican boxer. "I'm going to return home to spend time with my family, unwind, and celebrate my victory and all of my boxing achievements," Crawford stated. But Israel foolishly believes Terence Crawford would face extreme hardship. Moving up to fight Saul at super middleweight, the recently dethroned champion, Canelo Alvarez, expressed happiness with his performance despite the fact that this was only his 11th professional fight. Eddie Hearn said that Crawford is one of the best fighters in the world, pound for pound, and that it wasn't an easy fight. He had already knocked out the previous 10 opponents, including Spence and others, but Madrimov added, "I felt good. I felt really good. I felt proud of myself." The focus during fight week was mostly on Crawford's potential promotion to face Canelo Alvarez, the super middleweight champion, although Madrimov believes Crawford is too small to match. Alvarez at 168 pounds, he does acknowledge that the former 135-pound fighter has a powerful punch. "Many had questioned how I won my world championship belt in my previous fight, and I believe that this fight proved why it was easy." Madrimov added that if I had won the 11th and 12th rounds, I might have been able to take the fight to the other fighter or get a draw, but I did what I could and stuck to my plan. I also tried to be aggressive and take the fight to him early on, which was evidently more energy intensive. However, maybe next time. With my newfound experience as a promoter, I can perform better. After his outstanding performance, Hearn gave the media the assurance that Madrimov would be asked back for another Riyadh season event. The OBC fighter has stated his desire to either win a new world championship or reclaim his old one. He stated, "I want to try to take another title because it gives me a lot of motivation to try and take something from somebody and see how it goes." Terence Crawford isn't ruling out a highly anticipated super middleweight matchup with Canelo Alvarez. When asked about the fight once more, Crawford responded, "It's not so important to me, it's just another milestone towards greatness and financially wise." After 12 intense rounds of action, Crawford praised Madrimov's skills, stating that he was a difficult opponent to beat. "I know he was going to be tough. I learned all about him when I went to the United States, and they were telling me everything about him," referring to the Israeli. "I knew it right away, but I was just patient and didn't want to rush in because that's how I got caught a few times by trying to eat too soon. I did my thing, and as we looked out to the horizon, His Excellency Turki Alik revealed that, should negotiations break down, Alvarez had been invited to face Crawford. Virgil Ortiz Jr. is prepared to fill in. The contender stated, "I've made Canelo an offer. If he's smart, he'll take it. If not, I want Ortiz. If they accept, we want to see this fight."